Hello everybody, my name is Sigil and welcome to another Kitchen Witch Thursday. This week's recipe is chocolate peanut butter oatmeal bars. I'm aware I just did a chocolate and peanut butter recipe last week, but that's kind of something that I've been super craving, is just everything chocolate and peanut butter. So I went looking through my grandmother's recipe books for related things and pulled out a couple of recipes. And these were the two that I really wanted to try out, was last week's chocolate and peanut butter fudge recipe and this week's chocolate peanut butter oatmeal bars, which is kind of a funny thing because they're just labeled as peanut butter oatmeal bars on the little card that I have that I pulled out of the stash there. But these are the sort of thing where it's just really easy to add sort of extra ingredients to. So one of those kinds of things. So anyway, we'll just jump right in. So the first thing that you're going to need is 2 sticks of butter at room temperature. If you are outside the United States and don't have the sticks like we do, 2 sticks is a cup of butter. And it is important here that the butter be at room temperature. As with anything you do baking, you'll hear me say that a lot. You're also going to need 2 cups of brown sugar, a half a cup of creamy peanut butter. You can do crunchy if you want to, but I think that there's enough texture in here that the crunchy is not warranted. And the original recipe does call for creamy peanut butter, so I just kind of stuck with that. 2 eggs, a tablespoon of vanilla extract, 2 cups of flour, 1 cup of oats, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and then basically some peanut butter chips and chocolate peanut butter candy to throw in, as much or as little as you want. I have my measurements at 1 cup peanut butter chips and 2 cups chocolate and peanut butter candy, which I very specifically for this recipe use the peanut butter M&Ms, because those are delicious. And peanut butter chips, if you don't know, if they don't have them where you are, they're basically like chocolate chips, but they're peanut butter flavored, I think, or I'm not quite sure how that works, but they're labeled as peanut butter chips. Also on the oats, basically I just have a giant thing of, I think they're stone ground or steel ground or whatever you call them, oats, and a big cylindrical thing, because I use oatmeal in a lot of recipes like this where you can bake them into bars or into a loaf or something. So I have those on hand for baking additives, give or take some. So yeah, kind of, just your basic baking ingredients plus some peanut butter, oats, and candy, essentially at this point. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is preheat your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. And while that is preheating, get a bowl and cream together the butter and sugar. And this is why it's important that the butter be at room temperature, because if it's straight out of the fridge, it's not going to cream, it's going to turn into chunks of butter. And when you're baking, you really you don't want that. It's no bueno. So once the butter and sugar are mixed up real nicely, you add the peanut butter, the eggs, and the vanilla, and mix it all up again. You take a separate bowl, and you add the flour, oats, baking powder, and salt, and basically get a whisk or a spoon and just kind of mix all of that together. Then you take that dry mixture that you just made and mixed together, and you add it to the mixture you had started, which should have the butter, sugar, peanut butter, eggs, and vanilla. Get all that nice and mixed up. And then if you want to, if you're opting to, you can add peanut butter chips, chocolate chips, candy. Pretzels would probably work really well here too, something salty to go with it a little bit. Basically whatever, candy or other additives that you want to stick in there. And then you want to get a 13 by 9 pan and spray it down with cooking spray of choice, or grease it up, as the case may be. Spread the mixture in there, bake it for 30 minutes, and then let it cool on the countertop, and then place it in the fridge overnight, because these are not meant to be eaten hot. These are meant to be eaten sort of at like room temperature. And putting them in the fridge overnight just kind of helps everything like solidify. Because then you want to take it out of the fridge, put it back on the counter, let it get back down to room temperature, and then cut it up and enjoy it. So, I mean, yeah, really simple recipe. Um, just something super easy. I actually, unfortunately, by the time I came around, in terms of my grandmother's age, she was starting to slow down in terms of cooking, and it was just really hard for her to teach me everything, or at least in terms of like all of her recipes. So this is one that I never actually witnessed her make. I just kind of found it in the conglomerate of note cards and handwritten notes and books and crap that are there. But yeah, I made these and they are amazing. I ended up taking quite a few to the woman who lives across the hall from us, as I end up doing with a lot of my recipes. I take some over to her and her kids because, you know, single mom and all that, and they were like gone. Like she left them inside and her son immediately picked one up and wanted to eat it. Um so they liked it too. So this is just a really simple recipe. And like I said, just something because I was kind of on a chocolate and peanut butter kick. So there's that. And of course, it wouldn't be a witchcraft related video without some, little witchy notes about all of this. Now, the thing is, your basic cooking ingredients, butter, sugar, eggs, vanilla, flour, baking powder, baking soda, salt, things like that, they really don't have connotations for my personal craft because they're literally the most basic of ingredients. You have enough and the right combination of those and a few other things, and you can make really almost anything, to be perfectly honest with you. So, like, those super basic ingredients don't have a lot of connotations for me. So, we're back to just peanuts and chocolate, which is kind of a toss back to last week, where peanuts represent opportunity, prosperity, and wealth, and chocolate represents grounding and self love. And so, it's kind of a recipe that's like, eat these as sort of a doorway to opening new doors, prosperity, and wealth, and the chocolate is sort of grounding and self love to help you keep a level head and remember that you're awesome and you should totally love yourself because, you're awesome. Yay! So, really, that's it. As always, if you like these recipes, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe here on YouTube, and head down below and check out my coffee page. Because for each 20th consecutive coffee that is bought, I will put out a second recipe for the following week. So if you guys want to see more of these, go buy me a coffee. Because the more that are bought, basically at this point, it's about affording the ingredients from week to week. So the more you guys buy, the more money I have to buy more ingredients and make more videos. So, with that being said, thank you guys so much for tuning in. This has been a Kitchen Witch Thursday episode. I will see you next week.